What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Chainsaw Man. This is episode 9, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. Um, yeah, what a way to I guess you could say this is an end and another end of an arc, right? Because it's just uh, it's just everything that they showed off in this episode was just on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody should be surprised that Makima's not dead. I mean, she is a major character, so I think it'd be pretty crazy if they actually killed her off that way. But yeah, this was another pretty crazy episode too. Yeah, we kind of just get more so the continuation of the, I guess, I don't know if you even really call it much of a fight, but you know, the fight between with the Katana Devil and Denji this time trying to fight him. Well, we get to see that one of the ghost hands that from the ghost, I think it was the ghost devil that is contracted with Himeno, yeah, like pulls the string on Denji's chest to turn him into Chainsaw Man, and we kind of get a little bit of a fight between him and the Katana Devil.
Yeah, I say the fight was pretty good, to be honest, despite the fact that it ended so abruptly with many of the Katana Man's minions like getting in the way, and so Denji tries to take one of them hostage, but unfortunately the Katana Man just slices both of them in half regardless. So Denji's just pretty much incapacitated, still in his chainsaw form, surprisingly, but yeah, after all of that, they just decide to take Denji's body into a van, but at the same time, like you said, Makima, suddenly just gets back up from her gunshot wound to the head, and then just kills her assailants in the train.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really like. I mean, especially even if I didn't read the manga, I would have seen this coming. They definitely wouldn't have killed Makima off at this point. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it would have. I guess I have seen series before that have done something like that. I mean, it would have been a pretty bold thing to do, but I couldn't see it happening. But yeah, she gets back up, and of course, we don't really see how she kills them. But when the train arrives at the next stop, after Makima gets out, we see the bodies of the people that she killed, and they have like holes in them. So yeah. I'm not exactly sure what she did, but I mean, we can only imagine because we do see later on how Makima kills people.
Yeah, and plus the fact that the two other public safety employees see her out with blood all over her, and it's just surprising that they don't really fully question how or what she can do to those people. No, they just mostly assume that she's contracted with the devil of sorts.
Yeah. Speaking of which, she does end up she goes to like I guess like she goes to a temple. First she changes her clothes because of course she's covered in blood, but as she tells him it's not her blood. She ends up asking to have, how many was it? Like 10.
She said like
death
30
row inmates, or
she said 30 death row inmates.
30. Yeah, 30 death row inmates to be delivered to her. So they all end up getting transported over to this temple, and they are blindfolded and have their hands bound behind them. The two public safety members are also blindfolded, so they can't really see what's happening. And Makima, like, we don't really see what she does at first because we see one of the henchmen of the Katana Devil, and I don't really know what the girl's name is, but the two of them are like, one of their henchmen ends up getting just their bodies literally blown apart.
Yeah.
Like they just turn into a blood mist.
Yeah, it just gets into like an ongoing sequence of her doing this over and over and over, and the way they animated her, that sequence is almost beautiful in a way, but scary at the same time.
Yeah, the scene was pretty crazy in the manga too, so I was kind of really anticipating how this was, when this was actually going to get animated. But and this is the first time we actually see Makima use any of her, I guess really use any of her abilities. But it looks like she has she uses some kind of voodoo magic or something, because she has each of the death row inmates say the name of the person she wants to kill, and she does these hand gestures, and then the person's body like twists and contorts and then turns into just an explosion of blood. So we just see each one of these people just get killed this way and of course it also, I guess, ends up killing the death row inmates who do this. But I assume that she must also have some power of suggestion as well, because it's also kind of hard to believe that each of these death row inmates, even though they know they're going to die, is going to like willingly go along with what she wants, because they each just kind of, all of them just obey her commands without, pretty much unquestioningly. So I assume she must be somehow, either be hypnotizing them or controlling them in some way.
I mean, in a way, the death row inmates kind of have it easy with them just dying in a more peaceful manner compared to,
yeah, I guess so.
Compared to how the other guys just ended up, getting slaughtered in that manner.
But I mean, I'm sure they have no idea what they're doing. So she just asked them to say a name.
Yeah, but what's also questionable is, like, how did she know like the names of these people? That's another question that I have.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the episode, those two public safety members mentioned to Makima that it seems like she had maybe anticipated this happening beforehand, and of course Makima doesn't really give them a direct answer, so we can assume that Makima might have actually had this all. This could have been all just planned out in a way. Like she knew this is going to happen. It's likely she knew, she knew all this beforehand.
Yeah.
So
and once every single whatever, like, those henchmen of the Gun Devil like get slaughtered, the only people remaining is the Snake Girl and the Katana Man. And so soon after that, they're confronted by Kobeni, who is of course one of the only remaining survivors of the gang member attacks. And we find out, unfortunately, that Araya ended up dying from the attacks after trying to protect Kobeni from the gunshots.
Yeah. I think this might be the biggest surprise to a lot of people, is that Kobeni is actually fairly capable. Which I kind of forgot about this in the manga, because I mean, I will kind of spoil it. She doesn't really do something like she does here again, so I kind of forgot about this part, but I was actually surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I guess she did do that. But she's basically, like, we see that she's, like I said, she's fairly capable, which is kind of surprising considering how she was introduced in the in the last few episodes, as just being really kind of out of her depth and not really wanting this kind of a job. And we kind of, a lot of people just figured she wasn't really didn't really see, I guess couldn't really do anything or defend herself or anything like that. But she kind of proves us wrong, and a lot of people, I guess, who are anime onlys, they get proven wrong in this episode because of what she ends up doing. But yeah, basically she just charges toward the Katana Devil, and the girl tries to devour her with the snake, but she's just like running along the snake, just easily dodging it, and just comes up behind the Katana Man, like shoots him. So I was kind of like I said, I forgot about this part, so I was kind of taken aback when I saw this. I was like, wow, I didn't expect her character to be able to do all this.
Yeah, considering that how good she can use a gun, she just basically just aims at the Katana Man.
At first, I thought she was possessed or something. Like, I was like, this is not the same character? But I was kind of surprised that I guess it is.
I mean, I remember in the last couple episodes ago when she introduced herself, that she mentioned that she has a contract with another devil, but she can't really specify what it is.
Yeah, so, it might get revealed in the next episode then.
Yeah, but soon afterwards, both the Katana Man and the Snake Girl end up fleeing, and
the Katana Man the Katana Devil is pretty badly injured, but the Snake Girl tosses her into a van, or tosses him to a van and just tries to drive away. But Kobeni almost manages to shoot the shooter as she's trying to drive off. Yeah,
and soon afterwards, Kobeni apologizes to Denji for trying to kill him during the hotel incident, and and of course, she feels guilty over for allowing Arai to die, for protecting her from the gunshots. I mean, we see what happens. Like the old lady was, of course, tried to kill them both. Well, she did kill Arai, but then Kobeni, similarly, like goes behind the woman and then just shoots her in the head. And
Mm.
so this leads her to the point where she feels like she doesn't uh, belong in like public safety anymore, and decides to just resign soon after all this is over.
Yeah, and we also get a scene of somebody else who is also a member of public safety coming up to Makima and basically handing his resignation.
Yeah, but not before telling Makima that most of the special divisions that were slaughtered during the gang attack will be merged into one group under the command of Makima now.
Yeah, and I feel like if this was actually planned out by Makima, that this might have been like the reason why she planned this out in the first place, is that so she could have this happen, or she could have command over this division.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
whatever reason.
I like the way that she responded to the guy who resigned, saying,
Yeah.
who asked Makima if anticipated what was going to happen, and then she just responds, "I can't really say anything because you're a private citizen." It's just
Yeah.
like, I don't think she would have even answered that anyway, even if like the two other public safety guys came up and asked her about it.
No, probably not. But yeah, that's pretty much where this episode ends, and we do get a different ending, of course. And this one is Amer's what was it? Amer
Deep down.
deep dive. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, deep down. I liked it. I thought it was okay. It's mostly like the imagery was kind of weird. Like, I mean, it mainly again seems to focus on Himeno, and then there's and then also Makima to some extent. But
It's just a montage animation of blood flowing all over the
yeah,
place, and mostly during due to the result of Makima performing her ritual like she did in the episode.
yeah, I thought the song was good, but it felt like I guess that there wasn't really quite as much going on in terms of the imagery. I mean, like I did like the imagery, but it felt like in comparison to like something like the last ending, which I had like, it just felt like way more was happening on screen, where this one was just much more. It felt like a lot more subdued in comparison. But I did like the like I said, I did like the imagery and like the art style. It felt like it was something actually pulled out of the manga, because the imagery does look really similar to something you would see in the manga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was another good episode. It's it was I don't know, like it was about as crazy as the last one, especially with some of the I would say mainly with the revelation that Makima is maybe not as good of a person as we might have thought, but I think a lot of people might have assumed that Makima was not a good person in the first place with some of the things she did. But this episode just made it really clear that Makima is definitely up to something, and she's definitely probably not a good guy.
Yeah, and why she's more interested in coercing Denji to do whatever she wants for whatever reason. Like, why is Denji so special?
It feels like Makima has some kind of a plan, and that Denji factors into that plan, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen next week over the fallout, with pretty much majority of the public safety employees being killed. Not to mention Himeno and Arai dying after the last episode. And of course, Aki will have to figure out, how he's going to move on after losing Himeno like that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Aki handles the situation, as it seems like, in this episode, he's just completely at a loss after seeing, Himeno dying in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I don't have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It was a good episode. I think we're really close to the end of the first course, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And obviously, from what I'm hearing, like, this is not even close to being over to where, yeah, I mean, considering like how many volumes there are. I think somebody told me like this episode, I think, starts on the 4th volume. So
yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, so I can assume that maybe the last episode of the core will probably end maybe around the 5th. I don't know, but I don't know how much they're gonna be adapting. That could be my assumption.
Yeah, and there's 11 volumes in part 1, I believe. So, yeah, if they're going to end on somewhere on volume 5, then I mean it's. I would assume they're probably going to, like you said, this is probably going to be the first core. They'll probably do like another one or another half this season. But I'm kind of wondering if they're going to try to adapt like the entirety of part 1. I don't know if they could do that, but
It's very likely. I mean, while I was at the Crunchyroll Expo early this August, they only specified that they're only working on 13 episodes. But some of us asked like if there's going to be another core after this, and they didn't really say much of anything. They just decided to say, we're just only working on 13 episodes for now, and hopefully we'll work on something else in the future, depending on how what the reception is. Which I'm assuming that they will eventually make another core to this based on how.
And the reception to the anime too has been really good so far. So I mean, I can't imagine they're not going to continue it at some point.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that the guys at MAPPA are definitely going to work on another core. That depends on all the other projects that they're currently working and releasing over the next several months. Like we have like 3 other MAPPA series coming out over the course. I would assume likely in the first 3 quarters. The first 3 quarters of next year. So I can't really see them releasing another season of Chainsaw Man maybe until like the last quarter of next year.
Yeah, probably. I'd imagine like after the first core, they're probably going to go on a pretty long break until they come out with the next core, if that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next week, we will see you all later.